Well, I'm home from Sturgis. Got a good bug collection. That's for sure. About 2,800 miles altogether. I went up over Beartooth Pass on the way over there, and I came out in Billings, went to an art show. Got a relative that had some artwork there. It's called the Yellowstone Art Gallery. Rudy and Leela Attio, if you're interested. They do ceramics, really cool stuff. Anyway, it was a long trip. Did it all solo. Wanted to just kind of go through some takeaways, and here we are. As soon as I got home, I drained the oil. I've got one of these. I would definitely recommend this oil container. You lay it down on the ground. And that's the beauty of it, is that it actually fits all the way under your bike. And on this Ultra, when it's on its kickstand, which is the way you're supposed to drain this, it actually fits underneath the bike. Try and find a drain pan. Just try to find a drain pan at Napa or O'Reilly's. They don't have them. This is from Harley Davidson. I got it from the dealer. It was like 29 bucks or something like that. I don't remember. It's been a few years. But it works really good. I really like it and appreciate it. And you know, the other thing is that when I use this, it doesn't seem, I don't spill anything. There's something about, I just think there's something about the texture of the plastic on the top that it doesn't go slopping all over the place. Plus it's big. It's I mean, there's my size 13. It's probably, I don't know, what is it? What is that? 20, 27, 28 inches, 26 and a half by 16. And like I said, it fits all the way underneath the bike. And I've got 2 oil changes in there right now. It's not even full. I changed the oil before I left, and I just dumped this Mobil 1 that I had in there. I dumped that in there. So there's a good 6 or 7 quarts in there anyway. It leads me to this. Let's talk about oil changes. Because Harley, I go through this. Harley recommended oils. They don't have any of the SAE ratings. They don't have any of this stuff listed. The API, SH, SG, CF, they don't have any of that. This is Mobil 1. Lucas oil. Let's see. Where's it at? Lucas oil. Gosh darn it. Oh, here it is. Matrix is API SMSLSJ. Japanese, that's a Japanese standard, MA2. I don't know what this is. Formulated for wet clutches. And then something I haven't tried yet, but I'm gonna, is this Walmart SuperTech full synthetic 20W50 for V twins. You know, meets the Japanese standard MA2, the API SL, and again, I don't know what this rating is here, but what's common in all these, let's see here. You got the API rating here. You got the API rating here. And you got the API rating here. Now that's the only thing that's common in all three of these. I know the Jasco is common in two of them, but it's not on the Mobile One. One of the other interesting ones is this CF. That's a diesel engine rating. So like if you were running Rotella, they would have a CF rating for diesel engines. And I guess because of the great big radial axial strain on the crankshaft, a diesel engine gets pounded that way. Their compression ratios are from 17:1 on up. So that CF rating, I'm sure that's real important. But notice that Lucas or Walmart doesn't run it. Here's the other thing. I'm not sure what Lucas charges per quart. I know it's inexpensive, and I got this at Advanced Auto Parts or something like that. I can't remember, but I got this a few years ago. I've just got 1 quart left. Walmart was out of this. I've only got 2 quarts right now, but I did buy the Mobile One. That's probably what I'm going to go through this time. But I'm gonna get 2 more quarts of this, and the next change I'm gonna use this. Now, back to this, your Harley-Davidson manual. I always swear by getting a freaking manual, but this manual doesn't tell you squat about what kind of specifications your oil has to be. They just say get the Harley oil, which is BS. Come on. The other thing that's interesting, let me show you this. They call for a 20W50, and you know, that's the Harley-Davidson rating. They're all rated the same way, all these oils. All the Harley-Davidson oils are rated the same way. But this is what's interesting, the lowest ambient temperature. The 20W50, above 40 degrees, cold weather, it's good for cold weather too. But notice here, the lowest ambient temperature, above 80 degrees, they actually recommend SAE 60. Now, come on, I can't even find it. I was at an AMSOIL booth at Sturgis, and I talked to the guy there that specialized, you know, he knows a lot about his oils. I asked him, do they even make a 60 weight oil? No, they don't. He'd never heard of it. And when I told him it said that in the manual, he was like, wow. So I'm just saying, from what I've gathered, the 20W50 is standard. So that's 20 weight in the winter, 50 weight when it gets hot. It's a multi-grade oil, and this is full synthetic. Full synthetic. V-twin. Lucas doesn't say that, but you know, that's formulated for wet clutches, and that's what Harley has. One other thing I wanted to touch on. Your drain plug, it's real important. Install the oil drain plug, tighten to 14 to 21 foot-pounds, 19 to 28 Newton meters. And I did the math. It's basically in between these two readings is 212 inch-pounds. And I use an inch-pound torque wrench. One of my inch-pound wrenches doesn't have the Newton meters on it, so I like to go and I like to use inch-pounds. So you take these and times them by 12, and you come up with this. So anyway, I definitely recommend torquing them because I don't know, my built-in torque wrench, which is this right there. That's my built-in torque wrench. It's not always, you know, depending on whether I have eggs for breakfast or Wheaties, the adjustment's a little off, and I guess that's why they give you torque specs from 14 to, you know. Anyway, one other thing, let's talk about oil filters. That's a Harley-Davidson oil filter, the black one. They sell for under $10, I believe. It's really not a bad deal. People are always ranking on Harley. This is a darn good oil filter, and of course they design it for their own bikes. I've seen where you can get a Drag Specialties oil filter. There's a couple other brands. There's a couple other choices. There's K&N makes one, but they're quite a bit more expensive. And, you know, they come with that nut on the end. I can tell you that nut doesn't mean it's coming off. If it's been put on too tight or without any oil on the seal, you know, I've had that nut round off before. That, you know, the nut they put. Hang on a second here. I'm going to use this right now, so let's go ahead and tear open the box. You know, they say always coat the seal. The other thing, on a K&N filter on the end, you'll have this nut here to put a socket on, and I'm just saying, if you do that, use a 6-point socket. Don't try it with a 12. You'll round it off. Let's see. I'll show you what I use. If I can find it. That's what I use. Just be careful. Don't you know, there's some wires in there. There's some fins. You know, just be careful. Be gentle. Go slow. Get it loose, and then turn it off by hand. You know, you're wrenching on there, and you can break something if you're not careful. I'm just saying, be careful. But this works real good, and also I've seen that where strap wrenches work real good. I don't use a strap wrench, but I know they work real good. Anyhow, I'd like to kind of go through in my next video. This is pretty much all I'm going to do for this video, but I'd like to go through and talk about the takeaways. And I'm talking about the equipment that I used and the equipment that I didn't use on my trip. For instance, my jacket, my sleeping bag, my tarp, and my tent. I'm going to talk about that. I definitely ran into some issues. Let's talk about this too. Let's talk about these straps that people strap them down with. Seems pretty simple, but I'm going to tell you about my experience on my trip, because I had one heck of an experience. I'm going to go through my tour pack, and I'm going to show you the things that I used and the things that I didn't use. And the things that I couldn't throw away, I brought them home. You know, I didn't want to throw them away, but they basically got in my way on my trip. I'm going to talk about those things. I'm going to talk about the things that we put here. I'm going to talk about the things that I use and the things that I didn't use. You know, I kind of unloaded this. I got my helmet, my chaps, my rain gear. I'm going to talk about, I brought a cooler with me. I'm going to talk about that. By the way, here's the receipt for the oil that I got. I got it at Walmart. The Mobile One was $9.54 a quart, and from what I understand, I also talked to the Mobile One guy. Right now, O'Reilly's has got the best deal going on. He said it was like $7.99 a quart or something like that. Well, I didn't go to O'Reilly's. I went to Walmart, and that's not too much to pay. That's a pretty good deal for, you know, compared to this oil for $17 a quart or whatever it is they charge. By the way, the Super Tech from Walmart, it's only $5.08 a quart. Now, if this turns out to be a good oil, I can afford to change it quite a bit more often. I mean, that would be the big killer, is if the additives wear out sooner than, say, like on a Mobile One. Well, Mobile One costs twice as much. I can afford to change this twice as often, or at least, you know, a time and a half as often. You know, do it like 75% as often. Yes, money is an issue. I'm always looking for less expensive alternatives to maintain on my motorcycles. I don't like to push the limits, but if I can save 50% or if I can save 25%, I'm going with that, as long as it's good quality stuff. And I know that I've read a lot of good things about the Walmart Super Tech oils. It's full synthetic. And that is a big issue. You definitely want to use full synthetic. The weather that I encountered on my trip to Sturgis, and we're talking from Tacoma, Washington, basically, all the way to Sturgis. That's up over the Snoqualmie Pass, all the way through eastern Washington, Idaho, into Montana, over the Rocky Mountains, the Continental Divide. I went up over Yellowstone, Beartooth Pass. Beartooth Pass was freaking thunderstorms. So I encountered all kinds of weather. It was thunderstorms with hail. No snow, but hail and lots of rain and wind. I encountered all kinds of weather, but it was up to I think one day it was over 100 degrees, but every day was over 80, easily over 80, and I'd say the average temperature was about 90, 95. You got to have a good oil. And I don't baby this thing. You know, it's an 07. It's got the 96 cubic inch. It feels comfortable around 80 miles an hour. You do 85, it's okay to do 85, but you get up to 90 and it just feels like you're kind of pushing it. So I pretty much, I hate driving the freeway. When I'm on the freeway, I don't like to waste time. So I'm doing 80, 85 the whole way. 75 if I suspect there's a cop or something. But Montana's 80 miles an hour speed limit. Wyoming's 75, but I'm doing at least the speed limit all the time. So anyway, in those kind of weather conditions, and keep in mind, check this out again. If it's above 80 degrees, they're recommending 60 weight. Not 50 for above 40. So from 40 above 60 degrees, but above 80, they want you to rerun. So I'm just saying, be careful when you're running at those high temperatures. I mean, I didn't baby it, but I didn't beat it either. I tried to be careful and keep a moderate level. I was doing 80, not 90. Well, there were times I was doing 90, but I don't bring it up to 100 and just leave it. You know, I don't peg the throttle the whole time. I don't baby it, but I don't abuse it heavily either. And especially in those temperatures, I think it's real important to be careful. You'll blow these things. I can't afford to put a new motor in this thing, and I'll show you why. Let me show you why. Because I just bought that thing, brand new, brand spanking new. 60 grand for that baby. Right now I'm watching my pennies. Can you believe how dirty this thing is? I hit 3 thunderstorms. One in Beartooth Pass and 2 near Sheraton. I thought I was coming out of one, but I ran right into another one. Well, actually I did 4 because I came down into Red Lodge and out of Beartooth Pass. The rain quit, but it started again. And same with on I-90 in Sheridan, Wyoming. It came around a corner and the storm quit, but it started again. And that's a whole nother story. I'm gonna do that on another video. But that's all for now. I'll change this oil, and I'm gonna talk about tires too, about tire wear, and about your pre-trip. I did all the maintenance. I went through the manual and did all the maintenance. But I'll talk to you about tires and about how much wear should you have before you change the tire before a big trip. I gambled a little on this trip, and I came out okay, but it was a gamble. And anyway, I'll talk to you about that on the next video. Thanks so much for watching, and thanks again. Bye-bye.